Welcome to the Wealth Transfer with TC. Today, I'm going to talk about now that Trump has been inaugurated, what next? And there's going to be a lot of things that are going to be happening over the next 100 days. There's going to be a lot of things happening over the next year. And being prepared for all those different things and having the mindset of trying to reach that potential, that max potential of the things that you have invested into. Now, first, before I get started, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just sharing information, giving you my thoughts and my opinions on that information. If you guys like these videos that I make, the support links are down below in the description and also the comment section. All right, so now that Trump has been inaugurated, what is it that we do next? And for the majority of the people that are involved in the wealth transfer, most of you are just buying and holding. You're not swing trading. And so that's one of the things that God had to show me was like, hey, you can't do certain things because the majority of people are not swing trading. They're just holding, waiting for that opportunity when it reaches a certain price. And so we have to be mindful of that. And all the other YouTubers that are out there that are talking in the wealth transfer or the crypto community, you guys have to understand that most people are not swing trading. So I try to be so careful with the coins that I talk about or showcase or whatever, because that can happen, and it has happened, right? But the majority of coins that we've talked about on this channel, they're all doing pretty well. Now, the next thing I want to clarify, in my last video, I talked about the elites, after 6 months when Trump is in office, they can start messing around with the markets. And I'm not saying that there's going to be a crash in 6 months. One of the things that we look for is we do look for a market crash. Remember, they're still closing down factories. They're still closing down restaurants. People are still losing their jobs, right? Prices are still really high. So just because Trump is in office doesn't mean that those factories are going to reopen. Those restaurants are going to reopen. There's a lot of issues that still have to be taken care of in this country in order for, especially for restaurant businesses, to stay healthy and profitable. And so what I mean by the 6 months, that's the minimum time that if they wanted to crash the markets, they could blame Trump and everybody would believe that it would be Trump's fault. Right now, we do believe at some point over the next year or two that there's going to be a major crash. And that crash is going to allow us to benefit, whether it's through real estate, the crypto markets, the stock market, whatever market that you're involved in, that there's going to be a lot of opportunities. And there's some things that we're looking for, like the dinar revaluation, which won't happen until when things seem at their worst. That's why I don't talk about the dinar, because 99% of all videos that are made about the dinar are worthless. And so that's what God had to share with me, that we need to focus on other things that people could prosper off of, because as far as the average person holding dinar hasn't made any money off of their dinar, while all these other investments have been taking off. Hey, this could be a super cycle. We have all these announcements that are going to come from the Trump administration, executive orders. Now, he did sign an executive order about putting together a team that's going to be led by Hester Pierce about crypto regulations. Okay, so regulations are coming. You better hope that this does not affect a lot of the meme coins that you hold. Who knows how quick these regulations are going to come. I'm assuming that they're going to be close to what the micro regulations are. And of course, it could be these laws don't take effect for a couple years. But eventually, as we all know, down the road in the future, a lot of coins that have no utility are going to go away. And that's the number one reason why, you have to make sure that you're not holding on to coins long term that that aren't going anywhere. Now, some of the things that with this economy that Trump needs to deal with, and first of all, that's minimum wage. And this is very important, folks, especially for those of you who run businesses and, the whole healthcare, because businesses are to provide healthcare. And I wish that it was different. I don't think healthcare should be on the backs of businesses. It's hard for companies to survive when they are paying around $15 an hour. And that's still not really a living wage. I know a lot of people may not agree, but, I'm a Christian. Not a conservative, not a Republican. And everybody has the right to have a job that's going to provide. Not everybody has the same situation. Not everybody is born in an equal situation. And so those are some of the things that Trump is going to have to deal with, because a lot of these jobs that are going away, these are your average person, right? And there's people out there, man. I'm telling you, I've been there. I've worked the fast food. I've worked the factory. I've worked your office job. I've did a lot of jobs over my lifetime and very successful at some of them. But I'm going to tell you, if things don't get better for a certain percentage of the population, it's not going to be good down the road in the future. A lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck. And I see a lot of conservatives, they want to cut off food stamps, they want to cut off free medical and all this stuff. That's not the way God works. I mean, we're supposed to take care of the poor, the sick, the elderly, and the children, right? How can you do that without those services, right? And I understand there's a lot of corruption in that, and hopefully Trump will deal with that. And I think healthcare is going to be one of the biggest things that he's going to have to tackle, because you know what, folks? There's people getting cancer, young people, old people, and they still use chemotherapy and radiation and all that. I know somebody right now who's getting ready to go through radiation treatment for 4 months after they've already got rid of the cancer, but they want to make sure. So they're going to be doing 4 months of radiation. In the healthcare industry, the pharma industry, and hopefully that Trump will rein their power in, because pharmaceutical companies don't care about you being healed. It's a business, and the hospitals have turned it into a business. Now, one of the things I do want to talk about is this thing with the border, and I think that as Christians, we missed it. And when all these people were coming over, we should have had plenty of street ministries down there at the border. They wouldn't have allowed them in if we had so many people out there preaching the gospel and doing what we were supposed to be doing, right? And that's one of the things that I missed, because some of us were so angry that the conservative part of us came out instead of the Christian part, to have compassion on people. And I understand there's a lot of people that shouldn't be here, but could you imagine that if the church had got together and say, if all these people are going to come over, then guess what? We're going to preach the gospel to them. But that didn't happen. God had to show me that, like, we missed it. We missed the opportunity. We were so worried, and I understand. We were worried about, foreign troops coming over. We were worried about terrorists coming over. But the majority of people that were coming over were not those people. And we had the opportunity to be a witness and to preach the gospel. It's one of the reasons why I'm so adamant about, when this money comes, that we support ministries that will go out and do that. That will go to these places that you won't go to. We've currently seen a lot of executive orders, things that we already knew that were going to happen. We did get one crypto one with the task force, but the ones that I'm looking forward to is the JFK, right? Find out what happened. Let's get the truth out there. If there's anybody still alive that can be held accountable, let's hold them accountable. Same with Martin Luther King. Trump has said he's going to release those files too as well. So that's going to be very interesting, because that's the first time that I heard that. And then the Epstein files. And I think that's one of the ones that we have anticipated the most, for me, since 2016. I don't care what anybody else has prophesied over the last couple of years. These are all things that we have been expecting. And with those three major things, the JFK, MLK, and Epstein, when all those are out, I mean, it's going to give a clean slate to America. I don't know if you understand that, right? When all the truth comes out, and we can move forward. Now, the main one is the UFO and alien disclosure. And there's a lot of debate within the Christian church. And I hold a completely different perspective from most people when it comes to this. I don't have time to show you exactly what I'm talking about. But you guys have to remember that Jesus said when he comes back, it'll be like the days of Noah. In the book of Daniel, Nebuchadnezzar's statue, where the 10 toes, iron mixed with clay, and they shall mingle their seed with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave together. All right, so you have two prominent scriptures in the Bible that describe the last days. In the days of Noah, well, what happened? Right? What led to the flood? Well, angels came down in Genesis 6. They desired the women, they had sex, and they had Nephilim. Then the flood came. Now, if history is going to repeat itself based off of Jesus' words, well, guess what's going to happen? The angels are going to come down, and they're going to be with the women, mate, and have children. In the book of Daniel, with Nebuchadnezzar's statue, you had 10 toes, 10 kingdoms, 10 final kingdoms. Are we even close there yet? Well, I'll say this. If Trump wants to go after Greenland, Panama Canal, and Canada, and Mexico, and make that all one state, one union, that's going to lead to the 10 toes. And I remember growing up, people had these maps and they're preaching about about the 10 toes and how they were setting up, how they're going to set up the 10 final kingdoms. So be careful what you ask for. And, in that scripture, it talks about them mingling themselves with the seed of men. If they were human, the Bible wouldn't have to describe that. It's obviously non-human. Regardless, Genesis 6, when the angels came down, they married the women. They were mingling in society. Okay, so you're going to see what it looks like as far as aliens or angels. I do believe that God did create other intelligent beings. You have to remember that human beings are one of the last of God's creations. Right? When you look at Genesis, he created all the animals and everything else beforehand, before he made human beings. Right? And we are special. So don't think that God is not a creator, that he couldn't create intelligent life. The war in heaven is about making a choice. You take one side or the other. It doesn't matter if you're an angel, an alien, or whatever the case. And that's why when some of these things do come and you're going to be like, oh, in the name of Jesus, I rebuke you, and they laugh at you, you know what, maybe I won't go any further than that.